My name is Harrison J. Bahi. I am the owner and operator of Navajo Joe Films, and I am the director, writer, editor, cinematographer, and sound mixer and editor for Nobody's Boy.
Well, I am Daniel. I prefer Danny, but I am pretty much the main character in Nobody's Boy.
My name is John Dixon, and I play the character of Mark in the Harrison Bahi film, Nobody's Boy.
My name is Richard Thomas Overfield, and I played Gary.
Okay, so the story of Nobody's Boy, what I think is that it's just some lost person who has had some rough times in his life.
And it's his journey kind of on the edge of hope and despair to hopefully redemption.
He kind of manipulates a lot of guys. He does things for himself, to get to, the alcohol.
But more importantly, I think the film was about loss because Oscar, the main character, struggles with this deep sense of loss from losing his father, and he uses alcohol as a numbing thing, to numb his feelings and emotions about it.
That's what makes him feel better about himself. It makes him feel good. It makes him feel like that's something that wants him, and that he's gonna try and do anything he can to get it.
And what is a perfect enabler to that is being a prostitute, because that process of doing that, he is emotionless. I mean, when you look at him in the film with his clients, he's got that, sad kind of down face. So my partner Steven's sister knew had a friend in high school, and I saw a posting of some pictures had been taken by this photographer, and I'm going, wow, those are really good. I mean, the whole concept of where they shot, the composition, just everything, lighting, everything was just amazing. And I saw it was Harrison. It was Harrison Bahi. That's kind of how I got to Nobody's Boy, because Harrison posted in Facebook that he was going into pre-production on Nobody's Boy, and I said, hey, can you use an old fart? And he goes, yeah, maybe I can. And that's how I got involved.
Well, I got connected with the project through Harrison Bahi. He's a filmmaker, producer, editor. And we met like years ago during my first studio shoot, just like pictures, not no filming. But after I think all those years of getting to know each other and getting to know him personally, getting to know me personally, doing all the stuff, he kind of, I guess, saw me connect with it and probably saw me in some way somehow could fit the character, which is kind of cool. Because I mean, I'd done things with other people that they weren't like, oh, I think you could do this and this and this. It's just cool that like someone who I know wanted me to be in their film for the first time.
So I randomly got a text message from Harrison that said, hey, do you want to be in my new film? I have a great part for you. All you have to do, it'll be the easiest thing I ever ask you to do. You just have to kiss a boy. So naturally I said, sure, why not? So that's how I got my part. I guess you could call him, in the words of one of our other friends, I guess you could call him a piece of shit. Yeah. He doesn't have he doesn't have very much screen time, I think, to really fully understand who he is or what he is. He clearly is, he doesn't give a shit. He wants what he wants, and he's obviously not that great of a guy. Definitely polar opposite of the type of person I am. I generally tend to be a nurturing, caring, sensitive kind of person. So it definitely is a polar opposite character for who I am naturally.
The role that I started out with was not this role at all. It was a 30-second blowjob in the car, your client too, that's it. And when Harrison said, there's something missing from this film, I kind of jumped on that and talked to him about, well, what do you want the ending to be? How do you want to see Oscar? How do you want to do this? And I pitched some ideas about that. And I think that inspired Harrison to go back and modify his original script and said, oh, this makes more sense. I like this idea. I like how this goes. Mark is can be interpreted in several ways. In fact, it was just presented to me that he could be a closeted guy who just wants to make that connection, has never done so before. He and Oscar are not that dissimilar. So they're both dealing with this sense of despair and probably delusion a little bit, because Mark has this idea that he can emotionally connect with Oscar, and it appears Oscar's just treating him as a client. So he's delusionally thinking we did that. But his kindness comes across because that's who Mark is. He just wants that connection being the most important thing, that sense of intimacy, even if it's only for an hour or two.
I put little pieces in it, to be honest. I think it was already made whenever it was brought to me, but you know, I kind of put my 2 cents here and there with any aspect that I thought could either heighten the character or, you know, make him, or, you know, heighten or lower him. I knew what Harrison wanted the character to be, to look like, to sound like, to, you know, have, you know, some sort of energy. So I wanted to fit that.
So Oscar's wardrobe was actually inspired by a film that I watched, and that movie was called Strapped. And for some reason, that guy's wardrobe always stuck with me, and I decided to do like a rendition of that wardrobe for Oscar.
I kind of thought, like, I was like, I don't wear this. But it's like, it's not about me, it's about Oscar. What would someone who is like that wear? And someone like that really didn't care what he wore. He just wore it because that's what he wanted to wear, and that's what's comfortable.
But the wardrobe was kind of pieced together from just Goodwill hunting. We just, Goodwill hunting.
Everything but the green jacket was from Ross. The green jacket was from Goodwill. It was like it was like the only jacket, honestly. And I was like, how about this? And I would text him like pictures and like show him like the wardrobe. He's like, yeah, or no.
Yeah, Danny went to some Goodwills, and we had an idea of what we wanted jean-wise. I knew I wanted to have layers on him because it was going to be winter when we were going to be shooting.
The red sweater is a women's sweater, actually. But it could be unisex, honestly. It just looked like a normal jacket. Nobody
will know but us. Well, now you guys know.
Oh my God, fucking zipper.
That red sweater, man, that was horrible. It would not zip up all the time. We had to like pause.
It wouldn't go down or up normally. I would have to like really like try. And I'm like, ew, this is annoying.
We just said, fuck it, just keep it unzipped. We don't want to have to go through all that, but that zipper was such a bitch. So the challenges with making this film was more of the dramatic aspects of it. And it's funny because I feel like I can handle directing drama, but this was a whole new level of dramatic directing, because it was there were motivation. This wasn't just like a little 7-minute, 10-minute short film where, you know, it's just one emotion throughout the whole thing. There's a certain buildup of emotions of characters throughout the whole movie that just develops and grows and grows. So that was actually pretty challenging for me to really sit back and think, okay, well, I need to think about this journey of this character from beginning to end and not fuck it up. So I don't think I did, but that was the biggest challenge for me.
The early mornings, the late nights, the makeup, to be honest, that was pretty hard because I had to do the exact makeup, try, and even the blood and all that, and try and do it. And I would do it. I would, try and probably get, spot on a little bit, or, spot off and whatever, but like, we're in a COVID world right now. That was a challenge. We try to film in other places, and that was a challenge. And they said no, and getting no sleep sometimes, or getting a little sleep, and I like my sleep a lot. But
what I thought was going to be a very challenging scene didn't turn out to be really challenging at all. And it's really bad to say, but I'm talking about the rape scene. I thought that was going to be incredibly challenging because, you know, how do you film that, you know? And that was actually one of the major last things we shot. That's how far I pushed it off because I just was not, I honestly didn't know how to approach it, you know?
That was my favorite scene just because it was like, it was very action-y, which is kind of cool. I mean, throughout the whole time we were filming, it was very like down and sad. And this was like kind of like getting into action. I actually fought for myself. The Oscar fought for himself.
I actually don't think we've actually done like a regular film with dialogue and, you know, like where it required us to really rehearse much. So it was kind of neat, like seeing Harrison work and, you know, just how we rehearsed it. We basically just sat in a living room and rehearsed it on a couch.
Practicing the whole, like, it was kind of like a dance, to be honest. It would be like slow motion, and then we'd do it and it would be like fast and it would be like really cool.
We actually shot out in front of Harrison's house in his driveway in his car. So it was kind of neat. And then obviously like when you move, you know, from where we rehearsed on a couch into a car, there was a lot of different things that we didn't think about or didn't adjust for, didn't block into the original choreography. So yeah, it was a pretty neat experience. It was like late at night. I want to say we were shooting until like, I don't know, 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
Both of them were really tired. And, you know, essentially what they were shooting was a fight scene, so they handled that quite well despite how tired they were.
It was actually still pretty cold outside. I want to say we were shooting in like February, March timeframe, and it was still actually pretty chilly outside. So we all had our jackets on, and we get in the car and we were steaming. We were definitely fogging up the windows and steaming up the windows. It got very hot because we kept moving around and shooting the same scene over and over and over again. And there was a lot of like physical, physical acting in it because him and I were having to push each other and struggle with each other over and over again, to where the point where we kept having to take breaks to cool down and come inside and take our jackets off. It got pretty hot.
And despite the dark nature of that scene, we were all having fun. You know, in between takes, it was just, there was kind of like laughing despite I feel maybe we're doing that because we knew what kind of scene we were doing, but I think it definitely came together quite well. That was probably the most challenging thing for all of us involved. Oh my God. That opening scene in the desert, I've always envisioned the opening like that for 7 years. I've always envisioned the opening and the ending. That was the only stuff that was in my head 100%. And that location was about maybe an hour drive outside of Phoenix.
The isolated place was actually pretty cool because I'd never been out there. I don't ever go to that place. I'm not on that side of Arizona, but it was cool to see the sunrise out there when we used to do our early calls, which it was really cool.
And it served its purpose. It was great. It's just, I did not anticipate to drive out there 3 times. So the first time we shot there was, we did like a test shoot, which was the first teaser trailer we released. And then we went out there again to reshoot that because we added makeup to the whole thing because we knew this was post-rape/beat scene. So we had to have, you know, the bloody makeup and the bruising makeup. So we went out there again. And then for a third time, we had to do some pickup shots. And it was just, oh my gosh. I will never go back out there ever again, ever. Fortunately, for the third time, it wasn't too bad. The weather was fine, but those first 2 times, absolutely freezing. We're talking low 30s.
But it was so cold.
And I know Daniel hated it. He came bundled up in a blanket, bloodied and bruised. I can feel his pain, but I remember saying that, you know, use it. You know, you're waking up battered and bruised. Use that. The scene with the homeless person, kind of just talking with Danny, Oscar's character. I didn't have anything scripted. I knew we needed to have them talk about something. So while we were shooting, I said, hey Chris, tell Danny about all the times that you died in our previous films, because Chris was a constant collaborator of mine from 2000. 2007 to about 2012. I think we have about 20 or so short films, and he's probably died in half of them. So I just said, hey, Chris, just tell him about all the short films that you've been in, and all the stuff that you did in them. And I swear, there's a reason why we kind of muted that dialogue, because if you heard what they're saying, they literally sound like madmen. Because Chris is retelling a story of a movie we did called A Violent End, where his character rips the tongue out of another person and then stabs him to death. So just imagine, in the context of the alleyway, there's this bum telling Oscar that he killed a guy by ripping his tongue out. And I was like, oh my God. I remember editing and I was like laughing my ass off, because the context of it is so funny, because you have this stranger, and then you have Oscar like maniacally reacting to it, like laughing, and I'm like, oh my God, what have we done? So there's a reason why you don't hear the dialogue, but just for fun, here's that scene with the dialogue turned up.
I just reach in his mouth and start fucking yanking it out and rip it off, and blood just squirts, all over.
No, I don't know that. I've never seen that before.
Hilarious. In the bottles of Jack, there obviously was not Jack Daniels, so we had to make, we just put iced tea in both of them, which we had 2 bottles of Jack, 2 empty bottles of Jack, because obviously we didn't want to exchange, the same bottle because of the pandemic and COVID-19. So each character had their own bottle to drink out of. And I will say though, in the scene where Oscar is by himself in downtown Phoenix after meeting the character Mark, we did not have darker colored tea. We had nothing but green tea. So eagle-eyed viewers will notice that the Jack Daniels in that bottle for that scene is unusually lighter. The most dialogue-heavy scene in this movie is between John Dixon and Daniel Estrada, where their characters are conversing before, hooking up, basically. That process was really super fun, because it was such an organic way to develop the characters. Like, and any filmmaker, that's like a dream right there, where you have a group of people who come together and discuss the characters, break them down, build them up, create a history for them, so it motivates their characters to say a specific line, and then suddenly your script takes on a whole other meaning, and suddenly now their input changes everything, because it was John's idea to include the tattoo in it.
When we were sitting down at the chairs in my living room, originally Harrison suggested having wine to serve, and I we could have done the substitute like Harrison did for the Jack Daniels. We could have done grape juice or something, but we had the real stuff.
You would like pour the champagne, and I was like, hey, I only need a little bit, because I know I'm gonna get a little buzz or drunk, so you may need to just pour a little bit, but you were just like, nah, and I was like, okay, and then like, I was just like, oh man, okay, so I'm feeling a little wired after what, 5 sips, because that wine was good.
Even in rehearsals, we were doing the real stuff. We started out with red wine, and Danny didn't like that.
I love white wine. I don't drink red. I think if we did red, I think I would have been like gone the first sip, because I don't know, something about red makes me just drunk.
I think about by the last take, I was not sure what I was saying, because it was so many takes with the real champagne that I don't know. We were pretty lubed.
It was very entertaining to hear stories and kind of get to know you a little bit like deeper, because you're crazy.
I am.
Well, we were filming in John's room or house, whatever.
I told Steven that we're just gonna be a couple 3 hours, that's it. No worries, I'll text you when we're done. 7 hours later.
You get a call from your husband, Steve. He's been out there for an hour waiting for us.
And I'm still making that up to him.
And I felt so bad, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Steven. Whew.
But he was so sweet about it. He just said, I know this is important to you, John. I know you get a great deal of satisfaction from doing this, and I want to support you. And I thought, well, That's a keeper.
So the whole Walmart scene was absolutely ridiculous because we could not find a little family grocery store that would let us shoot in there because of COVID-19. They said, some places said yes, but we have to wear masks. So we're like, oh God, fuck it. So we decided to just go guerrilla style. In fact, for that scene, I just used my phone. I don't know if you guys noticed the drop in quality, because I know I did, but I just shot that scene with my phone as opposed to the actual camera we used. And we shot that in like, gosh, less than 5 minutes. There was no time for fuck ups. I said, okay, I'm just gonna do this, you're gonna grab it. That whole scene had to have its audio replaced because I was basically talking through the whole direction. Grab another. And start pocketing them. And a lot of eagle-eyed viewers might spot that Danny is wearing his glasses in the scene where we're following him from behind. So the scene for the bathroom location, it was very difficult to find a bathroom. And it couldn't just be like a home bathroom, because that's obvious. It needed to be like a business bathroom, because one of the things I always envisioned was it definitely was going to be grimier. Like I wanted it to be a gas station bathroom, and everyone knows how nasty those look, like scratched up mirrors, brown, yellow stained walls, you know, a sink that barely works. So unfortunately, I didn't get that for this project, but the location we ended up using was actually the bathroom at my job. I work at a museum, so that is our museum's bathroom. And it could have been grimier, but I figured I would use a pretty tight lens anyways to at least show how cramped it was. It really wasn't, but the tight lens sort of kind of makes it feel that way.
The crying scene towards the end, Harrison asked Danny to conjure up a past memory that was painful to kind of evoke the emotion that Harrison needed for him to cry. And that is really hard to do. That is something you never really want to revisit, right?
That was the hardest scene because I wanted it to come authentic. I wanted it to come natural. I wanted it to come from somewhere. Even though I'm trying to portray a character, I wanted it to come from some point in my personal life, some point, somewhere, and put two and two together and then bring it out of me. And I couldn't do it.
Danny would stop the scene in the middle. He said, I just can't do this. I just can't do this.
I can't do it.
Okay.
But I'm telling myself I need to fucking cry because I need to do this to push myself, to show Harrison, to show everybody that like I can do this and I can live up to my word.
And I kind of said, hey Danny, just kind of don't think about what anybody's told you to do. Don't think about what you should do. Just be present, be in the moment, and commit to the scene.
He just says some things to me, and he was just like, you just go for it, just do it. I know that you're backing out. I know that I can see it too, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you are. I am backing out. You're right. So, I think with the help of John, I was like very like grateful for that moment, for him to just say, just go for it.
And he nailed it. It was awesome.
The one thing I'm very, very proud of is the ending. The ending of this movie is something I'm really proud of because, as I said before, the opening scene and the finale, the ending scene, has always been on my mind for the past 7 years. So much so that I shot like a rendition of it with my friend in New York, which I think I actually released that as a teaser trailer for a Navajo Joe Films comeback, which didn't happen, but
everything's gonna be okay.
When we shot that scene, I had told Daniel to start. I think I said I tried to explain it as a crescendo of emotions. And it had to be incredibly subtle because we didn't want like a giant smile to go to like a giant sad face, so it had to be very subtle and very quiet, I think I said.
How I interpret the ending is it's both hopeful and it pretends to point towards a possible relapse.
Is Oscar gonna be okay? Is he not gonna be okay? If he is, hopefully he learns his lesson from all the shit that he went through and all that shit. But if he's not gonna be okay, is he just going to go down the rabbit hole again, or is he gonna die?
Does he trust Mark, or does he trust himself to follow through on a very hard process to get sober? And that's where the doubt comes in.
And the motivation for his character was that he's asked the question, you're going to be all right? And his face basically says, at least in the part of that, is that, yeah, he is going to be okay. But then that smile fades away, and suddenly he's thinking, but I might not be okay. I could go back to my old ways. I could fuck up, you know? And that's where the story is left off.
Yeah, he got saved in a way by his friend, Mark, but what's that gonna do? Like, that's just a safety net, and that safety net can break. So, you know, is he gonna repair that safety net, or is he just gonna let it, you know, fall through?
I am honored to have been asked to be a part of a project that I think does bring awareness to, you know, real things that happen specifically in the gay community. And I think a lot of people that may not be familiar with the gay community but see this film, you may be shocked at the fact that what happens in this film does happen and has happened to people, to, you know, homosexuals. So I'm honored, again, not so much to be playing the rapist, but I'm honored to be part of a project that hopefully brings awareness, and maybe anybody who maybe has experienced an event like Oscar, to know that they don't have to let that one thing, that one horrible thing that happened to them, define them for the rest of their lives, and they can overcome that.
I wanted just to shine light on some stuff, which is the alcohol, the loneliness, the depression, the whole, like, just trying to help somebody. And that's what you see in the movie, is that, yeah, he's going through all this stuff. He's stealing, he's, you know, drinking, he's seen death and all that stuff, but you can help somebody like that.
I would like it to have, like, an input, like a wake-up call, I suppose. You know, it's definitely, it's not a feel-good movie at all, but I feel it could definitely, hopefully, inspire people to come out of whatever darkness they're in. And I think that's aimed more at alcoholism. You know, speaking on behalf of my sister, who's 4 years sober, anybody can find that light.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Navajo Joe Films for letting me be in this short film. It was crazy to be in, but it was actually really fun. I want to thank John Dixon. I want to thank Richard Thomas Overfield, and I want to thank Chris Thompson for being in the film with me and teaching me stuff, and, you know, giving me advice, and just pretty much being a coach to me, being a first time, you know, acting. They really helped me, and I really appreciate that. And I appreciate Harrison behind the scenes, behind the camera, for letting me be in this film, because he saw something that I didn't, and he said, I can see you doing this. And I was like, maybe. But at the end of it all, it actually was so, like, honorable to be in this film. So thank you for that. So, and I want to thank everybody who, even before the film even came out, they're like, oh my God, I want to see it. So thank you for that. I want to thank everybody who supported the whole way, all my friends, all my family, and people who I don't even know, you know, support it. And that's so crazy. That's so wild. So thank you for that. And I love you all. Thank you.
I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be in this film, to collaborate with some incredible artists and talent. Thank you, Harrison, so much for choosing me to be a part of this experience. It's been amazing. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Chris, for your contribution to the success of this film. I think together we can be really, really proud of our accomplishment. I want to thank my partner Steven, especially for what I put him through that one night we shot here at the house. But I want to thank him for his support all along. He told me, he said that this was important to me and that he was here to support me. So you can't have a better partner in life than that. And I want to thank all the fans that are going to watch this. We'd love your feedback. We're proud of it. We hope you are too. And just again, thank you so much.
Thank you, cast and crew, for going on this crazy journey with us. This little short film has now turned into a 30-minute behemoth, and that's all thanks to you. So thank you very much. And thank you, viewers. Thank you for being longtime fans. I know there's some people out there who's been with us since the beginning when we were terrible. Look at this. Look what we made. Isn't this awesome? 2007 was so long ago. 2021. That's where we're at right now. So thank you. We love you. Thank you very much.
Can you walk away?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no. Okay, we'll cut.
I was looking at this.
I know, but
You're
okay, it was